How tough are backyard ultras really? And do you need to be crazy to run one? I decided to find out when I entered the Maribyrnong Valley Park Backyard Ultra in 2021. Now this race started in the early evening at the end of a day's work, so I organised my life to get a 30-minute sleep before I left home. I had no idea what would happen once the race started. What would control how far I could get? Would I just get to 3 a.m. and have to sleep and be done? Would my body break down and I wouldn't be able to go anymore? And if so, when would that happen? Or maybe my body would be fine, but I just wouldn't be mentally tough enough to keep going. I didn't know, and I thought it would be an interesting experiment to see. Now, of course, most of my friends thought I was absolutely nuts to do this, particularly about the concept of starting a race with no apparent end. This is the start area for the Maribyrnong Valley Backyard Ultra. This was my first backyard ultra that I ran, and we started out from here. So all the various marquees and whatnot were set up here, and this is where we returned to, and I think the timing mechanism was right there, so it was go out that entrance and then you're away. This would be the start. You'd head down here. Nice downhill, but after a few laps, or at least the last laps anyway, it would be quite hard on the legs. I remember coming down here on lap 14, so to set the scene, up to lap 9 I ran a pace that I was comfortable with, that I could have run faster, but I chose not to. From lap 9 onwards, I was running that fast because I had no choice. I couldn't actually run any faster. So from there it got difficult. I had 3 quite challenging laps that I had to dig deep to finish them. They were 11, 12 and 13, obviously. Each one was a bit worse. Coming down here on lap 14, and it just hurt so much. The group had dropped me off. We weren't going very fast, obviously, but the group had still dropped me off. And about this point where I am now, I just had enough, and I stopped and walked. This point's important. Now, to set the scene, I'd run, this is my 14th lap, and the other 13 laps, I've been in a group, and we come along here, and we run straight past this because we don't take the first right, we take the second right. On this lap, I took the first right, so, and I went up there. So by the time I got up there and then I saw people running past, I was really confused. Eventually I figured it out and I had to come back. So by then, I thought I was done. I mean, I was behind the group. I'd taken a wrong turn. I was even further behind. But in truth, my body really hurt as well. But in truth, my biggest problem was actually my mental state. That was the real problem. Because post-race, when I analysed all the splits and realised I wasn't that far behind. I could have finished that loop, at least theoretically, if I could have just maintained a half-decent pace, which of course wasn't. So I didn't pay a lot of attention to this when I was running past it on the last one standing, but that's the axis of a fold, or at least some might call it a monocline, but it's a bit simplistic. And that's in the Melbourne Formation, the Silurian age interbedded sandstone and siltstone that covers a lot of the Melbourne area. So after we come out of the river crossing, we then come along this flat ground. Then we head over towards the Escarpment, where we have to run up a pretty sizable hill. So in many ways, this is the most challenging section of the Backyard Ultra. A video probably won't show it very well, but it's a decent hill. And I actually walked this on the first 10 laps. I think I ran it on 11, 12 and 13 because I was concerned there was no point saving my legs now. I need to finish the lap. So you might look at that and think, hang on mate, that looks really different to the rocks you were just showing me. And if you notice that, you'd be right. These are boulders and cobbles of basalt. It's just the surface expression, but there's basalt rock beneath it. And of the newer volcanics, Their quaternary age are probably about 1 million years old. So we're looking at about a 400 million year age difference between the Silurian sandstone that we saw down there at the river crossing and up here. So what has happened, you're wondering? Well, this basalt is frozen lava from a volcano. So there's a whole series of volcanoes in this area. They erupted, the lava flew over the ground, it got cold and froze, formed the basalt. Then, more recently, now can we see this? Yes, we can. So after that, then we've had the Maribyrnong River come along, and it slowly but surely cut its way through that basalt and got down to the Silurian, to the Melbourne Formation. And that's the modern day river there. So how amazing is that? Okay, so this is the descent from the hill here, and the advice from the race director was to run down, and like running up, I did that every lap except 11, 12 and 13, where I started getting nervous about finishing inside the cutoff, and there's no point saving your legs if you've got nothing to save them for. So I ran here, which, I don't know, probably didn't help my legs, but got me there. You can see it's a decent descent actually. Goes all the way down here.
So what did end up happening? Well, that was lap 14, and I'd fell off the back of the group and I was going a lot slower. So I actually got around the course you had to go past the finish and then loop around about a 1 kilometre last lap. And I got to the finish the first time at about the hour mark. So rather than do the last lap and finish that lap, I don't know, about 10 minutes after, I just stopped there and made it 92 Ks, and I was out because I hadn't returned back from the cutoff. So what did I learn? It does help to be crazy to do them. It's good to be mentally tough, but in the end your body catches up to you. And I also learned that a half-hour sleep before the beginning of a night race does make a big difference, and you are capable of running through the night if you do that.